Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hope you're doing fine. So here we are again to present this work prepared by me, Dr. Huda Kohli Kallel, together with my colleague, Dr. Sumaya Gharssalah Ferhi. In fact, this presentation is entitled as follows: Dolce Gabbana, parading in the Valley of the Temples between heritage and creative design. However, the work comes in the context of a conference on culture, history, art, and design, which is taking place in the EM PS, Prague. Hope that you would enjoy it and you would find it fruitful. Now let's get into it. So, what is it about? Dolce Gabbana has been parading in the conquered Greek temple located in Agrigento, Sicily, since July the 7th, 2019. The Alta Moda, the women's, and Alta Sartoria, the man's, collections are very much inspired by the antiquity and the Renaissance. Hence, this experience was unique, consisting of 4 days of immersive and highly spectacular experience targeting all customers. In this regard, and few hours before the show, Domenico Dolce asserted what is most important is to introduce customers to an unprecedented experience and to tell them a story. Alta Moda is more than a collection, it's an experience that we offer to our guests. Yet, the next question to ask oneself here is where? I would answer it is no doubt in the Agrigento Valley. Indeed, the Agrigento Valley of the temple is one of the best preserved archaeological sites in the world. It represents a tremendous succession of the Greek expansion vestiges in Sicily, whose pillars, hills, and the Mediterranean in the background have inspired many poets and painters for centuries. All these picturesque ruins they have all helped the latter transgress all time and space bonds to make of the fashion parade taking place in the Temple of Concord a precious treasure, of Greek antiquity located in Agrigento, south of the island. However, if one digs deeper and decides to figure out about the multiple sources of inspiration, here they are. First of all, the design was based on mythology and religion, hence gods and goddesses are present. Besides, all the known codes of the antiquity fashion have been displayed, from the laurel wreaths and flowers, traps and togas, passing by the dominance of the white and gold fabrics, the ostentatious golden jewelry, the Greek curls, as well as the revisited warrior helmets, to the sandals, the dresses with red and black figures, paying tribute to the Greek values. We also noticed some outfits and hairstyles similar to those of the Hunger Games movie, crowned with statues and ancient pillars. Throughout the parade, we were taken back to the Greek civilization with its myths, its deities, its artistic creatures, and its architectural elements of decoration. It is also important to mention that all these elements were in fact combined with the aristocratic fashion of the end of the 19th century, as seen in Vicinotti's Le Guépard. But why this kind of fashion parade? That's the question. Well, although Dolce& Gabbana is an Italian brand, the owners decided to make the show in Sicily, in the Valley of the Temples, evoking a Greek identity different from that Roman one. Thus, this brand has gone beyond the territorial identity to become a global cosmic identity, encompassing everyone without exception. With this kind of fashion show, we're taken to a universe without limits between the earth and the sky, between gods, heroes, and warriors, between angels and men. No time, no place. In a nutshell, Dolce& Gabbana brand is exceptionally embracing the universe to achieve globalization through digging deeper in many areas of research, what we will discover accordingly. So, in this presentation, we will follow a chronological and thematic approach, suggesting three areas of study. The first area It concerns the history and the initial values of the monuments. There, we will present the sources of inspiration adopted in the Dolce Gabbana fashion show. We will talk about the chronological variety from antiquity to modernism, as well as the outstanding themes of the mythology, the spirituality, sculpture as art, the ceramic decoration, the architecture, the tools of war, and even the weapons. Moving to the second area, it will be devoted to the exposition of the conquered monument as a public heritage space and its transformation from a spiritual, religious, and divine place to a place of artistic exhibition. However, the third area of research will focus on the product of the parade and its artistic creations in the fields of clothing, footwear, jewelry, and accessories. Through these three areas, we aim to answer the following question: how did designers succeed to incorporate antique elements in the design of the new product? For this, let's begin with the conquered temple. Okay, so the setting of the parade made it possible to fully immerse yourself in the world of ancient Greece, since it took place in Greek temple, the Temple of Concord. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is in fact located in the Valley of the Temples in Agrigento. But why this temple? Indeed, this Valley of the Temples is considered as a treasure of Agrigento, located on the southwest coast of Sicily and built around 430 BC. It is one of the best preserved Hellenic temples in the Greek world, and it was converted into a Christian basilica in the 6th century. That's why it has come down to us in such a good condition, since its structure was reinforced and strengthened. What is more is that along with the Parthenon in Athens, the Temple of Concord is considered as the best preserved Doric temple in the world. Hence, it was named after the discovery in the vicinity inscription or in the vicinity of a Latin inscription dedicated to the conquered of peasants. Unfortunately, historians do not know to whom this temple was dedicated, as there were no indications. So now it's high time we moved to discover the main sources of inspiration. From the antiquum to the postquum, and from the classical antique art to the Renaissance art. Here is it. Starting with the alta moda or the women's wear, well, it's important to highlight the fact that few original touches embellished the collection. Some of the outfits featured in the prints that made the collection such a success, and it seems that the designers have decided to make them a real element of the brand. Besides, dresses with red and black figures paid tribute to the Greek vases of the regions, hence the reference ranges from simple prints to sleeves and straps with varying degrees of success. However, if we consider menswear or what is so called the alta sartoria, as you can see here, you would notice yourselves the great mosaic the outfits displays, as you can see here. So here are some of the outfits that were paraded there. Moreover, one other source of inspiration for the show was sculpture, with the hairstyles crowned with statues. As such, Greek sculptures is one of the most famous and influential art forms of antiquity. It played a pivotal role in the development of Greek culture and exerted a considerable influence on Roman culture as well as on Western art in general. Well, as you can observe, the first headdress crowned with a sculpture is depicting the facade of a Greek temple with the columns and cornice. We are therefore in the presence of a source of inspiration which is linked to monumental religious architecture. However, the secondary dress, crowned with a sculpture of Venus, it represents an ideal depiction of the Greek beauty. Yet, what is next is also a totally different source of inspiration embodied in the soft drap and fabric. Hence, Greek antiquity invented three architectural styles or orders. By defining proportions and styles, they ensure the harmony of buildings. Besides, they can be easily identified by observing the columns of the building, and in particular their capitals, which differ greatly from one style to another. The capital printed on the dress is of the iconic order. It is scrolled, more complex, and ornate. Yet the column's shaft is more slender. Dolce& Gabbana's designers succeeded in transforming this hard capital carved in marble into a fine, supple decoration printed on drops. This blend of styles is but a remarkable innovation, bringing back goddesses and angels. From heaven to earth and from the profane to the rational. As such, all the usual codes of antique fashion have been summoned. The wreaths from the laurel and flowers, the drapes and the togas, the gold and white fabrics, the jewels flashing, the Greek friezes, the revisited warrior helmets, the cameos, and the sandals. All this it has made of the models who were parading real Greek senators. Okay, so it is So it is the togas of the senators. Indeed, the word toga comes from the verb tigir, means to cover. The toga is the most important piece of the Greek clothing. It's a long, white woolen print draped over the left shoulder and arm, leaving the right shoulder uncovered. However, it has evolved over time to be made of linen, silk, and sometimes with embroidery. Along with the toga, weapons and tools of war fashion accessories featured also in the show. Hence, we reported a shift in the function of weapons and tools of war from utilitarian to aesthetic. Accordingly, we observed a mutation from the spiked bullet to a gold-colored bag. The arrow and the bow were used as fashion accessories. As a result, objects which were once considered as dangerous weapons or tools of war are now used as accessories or decorative objects. This would lead us to the post-quem or the Renaissance art? Well, the Renaissance has always been admired. Art, culture, and knowledge reached such heights in this period that they continue to be seen as models of perfection today. If you look at the works of Leonardo, Michelangelo, Botticelli, or Piero della Francesca, you can't help but be enchanted, even if 5 centuries have passed since their execution. You can't deny the eternal beauty contained in these masterpieces. A long story short said, the Renaissance was an exceptionally important source of inspiration for the show, and it introduced an audience to the world of fashion, design, and creativity. And again, it was all through and thanks to the conquered temple. This public heritage space transgressed all boundaries, as I said, and it was taken out from its long lasting spiritual, religious, and even divine context to become a completely artistic or a new art exhibition venue. The temple was simply transformed from a spiritual, religious, and divine public place into a performance space where fashion designers showcased their artistic creatures or creations in an international art exhibition venue. In fact, that renovation of use paved the way for future remembrance. At this point, the past acquires a contemporary value in terms of modern life and creation, and by admiring the value of antiquity, these secrets of the past have always fueled the appeal of the past and the attachment to the buildings of ancestors. The conquered landmark has represented the identity of Greek civilization throughout history. It has always been an exceptionally profound revelation of antiquity. Until today, the monument remains capable of ensuring meditation, cultural, as well as social continuity between the past, the present, and even the future. To this, we can affirm that this double temporal presence is itself a source of value, according to Regal, who once said the value of recollection is not attached to the work in its original state, but to the representation of the time that has elapsed since its creation. Hence, with the Dolce Gabbana fashion show, a new dimension for the conquered temple has emerged. The artistic value of this historic monument makes it the subject of many artistic interpretations, both in its original historical context and its subsequent eras. In fact, this value is like a thread linking the past, the present, and the future. According to Regal's value theory, we are faced with the two values, novelty and relative art. To conclude, through art and design, and through creation and innovation, the monument steps out from its silence, its stability, its eternal death to live again and to become a monumental public space where the mute, stable marble statues are transformed into moving, lively mannequins. So, those colors, lights, trapped fabrics, women and men, and all the move, they are they are theatralizing the space. The exhibition is over, and now statues return to their places. Silence covers the monument, and the lights go out. We're in our Temple of Concord. To this, we come to the end of our presentation. That's the final curtain. Hope you enjoyed out the traveling time, and hope you're just looking forward, and hope you're looking forward to see us again in another place or another space or maybe another time. Goodbye and see you next time.